All right, let's wrap up. 3.1. So today I'm going to be going over examples 4, 5, and 6. One of the things I need you guys to remember when you are looking at a graph and you're analyzing it, it's always about the x value. So here I have, when I'm solving, I'm looking for the x value. When I'm writing an inequality, I'm using the x values. So for all of these, I'm going to use the x value for every single one. So I'm only given 3 points. Those are the only 3 points you're going to use. It doesn't matter what the other points on this graph include. So when I see g of x, that's the same as y. So y equals 20. I'm looking for x. I want x. The question is, what is x when y equals 20? So I go over to my graph. Well, here's y equals 20, and what is x equal? 5. So my answer is x equals 5. In B, I'm going to do the same thing, but when y is 60. So I'm going to go over to where y is 60, and x is negative 15. So let me color code these for you guys. So I go to where y is 20 with the yellow. I go to where y is 60 with the blue. Okay, now the next one. It's where y is 0. So I'll use green. So I'm going to go to where y is 0. And my x value where y is 0 is 15. So the equals, the equations, those are fairly simple. Now we're going to get to the tricky ones. Hold on, let me get some water. Okay. I want to solve where y is greater than 20. So now this gets to be a little bit tricky. When I see this sign, it means greater, which means I want above. I want where the graph is above 20. So I'm going to use pink. Actually, I don't want to use a highlighter. Let me change the color completely. Let's go with gray. So I'm going to go to where y is 20. So that's the yellow. Okay, yellow is the 20. So I'm going to put a little squiggly line. So it's cutting my graph into 2 pieces. This is above. This is below. Since it's greater, I want above. So I want that piece. So again, it's using the x values. The x values. So it's x is blank to 5. And it's not going to be equals. Okay, those were A, B, and C. Here I have an inequality. So now it's which inequality? Am I going to use a less than or am I going to use greater than? So what you have to do is you need to look at the 2x values. The 5, which goes with the 20, and the other point that goes with the one that is above. Well, negative 15 is less than 5, so that's what's going to go in between. It's less than. Now, for E, I'm going to switch. So I'm going to uncircle those. Let me get rid of the below here, because now it's going to change. Because now I'm back to 60. So I want where y is less than or equal to 60. And 60 is blue, so let me go back to blue. So I'm going to put a squiggly line through that point. Here's the above. Here's the below. Less than. This means below. Less than is below. So now I want this piece right here. So now I'm going to compare. Negative 15 is blank to 5. Okay, so here, I'm going to use this symbol right here. The 5 is greater than 15. Okay, 5 is greater than 15. So this is x is blank to negative 15. 5 is greater, so I use the greater symbol. Now the last one. I want my graph from between the 0 and the 60. So here's 0, here's 60. I want everything in between. So I'm going to use my x values. So I start with my smallest, x, and then my largest. So negative 15 to 15. Now, I need to fill in the blanks. Since I want everything in the middle, it has to be greater than negative 15 and less than 15. So there's my inequality for F. Hopefully that makes more sense than when I did discuss this in class with you guys the other day. All right, moving on to example 5. This one is actually fairly simple. So when it says solve f of x equals g of x, I want their point of intersection. So looking at this graph, their point of intersection is 2, 5. So that one is relatively simple. Now when I get to b, though, it's not as easy. So f of x. I'm going to make f of x yellow. So I'm going to highlight that yellow. I'm going to make g of x blue. So I'm going to highlight that one in blue. Now let's look at the inequality. This is less than. Less than means below. Okay, so less than or equal to is below. Greater than and greater than or equal to is above. If you have not written that on a post-it note yet, you need to do so. So I want where yellow is below blue. So when I look here, there it is. Yellow is below blue underneath. Okay, below. So what is my x value? So it's x is something to 2. Well, this is the left side. Left is less than. Okay, so just pay attention to the arrows. Arrows not only go up and down, but they go left and right. Left is less than. Okay, so that takes care of that one. Questions, make sure you're writing them down so you can ask me. All right, last example. So we have a company that's buying computers, and the computer starts at $3,000. And they're going to depreciate, which means the value of the computer is decreasing over 3 years. So a straight line method means by 3 years, the computer is worth no money. So at the beginning, for A, when I want to write the linear function that's going to express the value of this computer, depending upon its age, the computer starts, so that's times 0, the computer starts at $3,000. By 3 years, the computer is worth $0. So that's the straight line method. That's what is meant by that. It's going to start at a certain amount, and by the end of the amount of time, it will be worth $0. So my change in y, so my slope, I need my slope, my delta y, is it went down $3,000. My delta x, which is the time, was 3 years. It went up 3 years. So my slope is negative 1,000. So to write the equation, y minus, I'm going to go ahead and use the 3, 0. 0 equals negative 1,000 times x minus 3. Do I really need to go through all of this? No, because I know how much the computer is decreasing. It's decreasing 1,000. How much was the computer originally worth? 3,000. So there's my equation. Now to graph this, fairly simple. Here's 1,000. Here's 2,000. Here's 3,000. I don't need to go past that because that was the max the computer was worth. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So the x-axis is in years, the y-axis is in dollars. So it started at $3,000. By 3 years, it was worth nothing. So there's my graph. That's the straight line method. Very simple. So now, what is the value after 2 years? You could choose to use your graph or you can use your equation. If I use my graph, I go to 2, up to the line, it's 1,000. If I was using graph paper and a straight edge, this would be perfect. Since I'm not, I'm actually going to use the y equals negative 1,000x plus 3,000. 2 is my x. So negative 1,000 times 2 plus 3,000. Negative 2,000 plus 3,000 is 1,000. So after 2 years, the computer is worth $1,000. When will it be worth 2,000? This means that is my y. So 2,000, I want to know when it ends at 2,000. 2,000, I'm looking for the time. So I'm going to start by subtracting 3,000. I get negative 1,000 equals negative 1,000x. So x equals 1 year. So after 1 year, the computer will be worth $2,000. All right. That sums up our linear function section for 3.1. We looked at rate of change. We looked at y-intercepts. We were looking at increasing, decreasing. We looked at how to use equations to solve. And this is going to help us in 3.2. So make sure you guys are understanding this. Come in with your questions. Write down anything that you're struggling with or any ahas, then you can put them on your post-it notes. All right, I will see you in class tomorrow.